In this video, I'll be showing you how to make flare sleeves with cuffs. Assalamu alaikum, welcome back to Posh Covers. The measurements we'll be needing for the sleeves are the sleeve length, armhole, and the wrist circumference. So I started by folding this blue fabric into two. I didn't fold it straight, I folded it in a slant. This folding method is also used when making flare gowns, flare skirts, or A-lines. Since the armhole measurement is 18 inches, we divide by 2 to give 9 inches plus 1 inch allowance, making a total of 10 inches. Using the measuring tape, I traced where 10 inches is. I used exactly 10 inches in order to avoid wasting of the fabric as much as possible. After measuring the 10 inches, I joined it to the center front of the sleeve using my ruler. Then I measured 4 inches upwards. This 4 inch represents the sleeve cap length, so you can use a measurement of 4 inches or 4.5 inches. After joining the lines, I went next to mark our armhole measurements in a slant form. As our armhole is not a straight armhole, armholes are usually curved. So I marked the 9 inches, which is the 18 inch divided by 2, 9 inches, plus our 1 inch allowance, making it 10 inches. From the 9 inch measurement, I drew a mountain shaped slope upwards towards the beginning of the sleeve cap. This will serve as the armhole curve. Next is to determine the full length of the flare sleeve. We started by measuring the elastic, which is 1 inch wide. To determine the flare length, we need to determine how long the cuff will be. Since we have 2 elastic casings and each elastic is 1 inch, so that's 2 inches for the elastic. Then we have the remaining parts of the cuff, which I used around 2 inches. So 2 inches for the elastic and 2 inches for the remaining part of the cuff is 4 inches. Subtracting the 4 inches from the full length of the sleeve, which is 26 inches, we have 22 inches. And that is the measurement we'll be using for the flare aspect. 22 inches. 22 inches. Then I'll be joining this line. Yes. Inch. This is how the sleeve looks now. So while cutting, we forgot to remove the extra allowance, so we'll be removing that now. However, if you will be lining the sleeve, you can leave that as your lining allowance. So cut 2 of the sleeve and mark the wrong side. Then we'll cut a notch on the mid part. The notch will be of benefit when joining the sleeve to the main outfit. Next, we'll be measuring the bottom of the flare, and for this we have 13.5 inches on fold. While folding some of the fabric into 2, we'll be cutting out the cuffs. If you remember our measurements, we decided to use 4 inches for the cuffs. So these 4 inches will multiply by 2 because we're going to have the cuff on fold. When we multiply by 2, we get 8 inches. Plus 1 inch allowance, which will give us 9 inches. We are folding it into 2 because the elastic is going to be in between the 2 layers. It's going to rest in between the 2 layers. We'll then go ahead to measure 13.5 inches as we initially measured on the flare of the sleeve. Then we'll cut this out. So we'll be folding it into 2. So the right side will be out. Folding. Then 1/2 inch allowance first. 7 inch the sleeve. Now point one here, just this point, so we don't have problems when we're looks like. We have our allowance area, the first elastic and the second elastic, so we'll be running stitches on all these lines. Remember our wrist circumference was 8 inches, is 9 inches. You can see, so I'll be using 9 inches, so I'll be cutting out 2 like this. I'll be cutting out 2 for each sleeve, stitching all these 3 lines. I will be stitching on the allowance. Safety pin. So we'll be inserting the elastic and the safety pin. So first opening. Try and make it as straight as possible. Try and keep pulling. So when it reaches this area, you can use a pin. So we'll be holding it with a pin. Then we continue till it comes out of the other side. You can see that it has and then we stitch. thread at the edge of the sides. And this is thread separated. So I'll be picking one of the threads and pull as the length of the cup. So we'll measure and check and see it on it. So you see the first one and you see the second one.